This video is brought to you by Devolver Digital, who are now holding their Spring Steam sale until March 20th. Survive one of the most beloved bullet hell roguelikes in history with Enter the Gungeon, which is marked down to a criminal 90% off. Reacquaint yourself with the nautical antics of Guybrush Threepwood in Return to Monkey Island. Pirate games. They're great. What if your bullet could hit a dude, stop in midair, turn, and then hit another dude? That's Children of the Sun, one of the best indies of last year. Film and produced 1999's hottest reality TV show this side of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in The Crush House. Add a little kick to your soup and salads with a pepper grinder. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean live the life of a dirt dolphin in 2024's excellent adventure platformer, Pepper Grinder. And find inner peace with 9 of your friends in Karmazoo, the delightful 10-player co-op platformer. Don't have that many friends? Don't worry. Neither do we. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Devolver Digital's Steam page and dig into those sales like the good little dirt dolphins you are.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Firelink Podcast, episode number 58 for Thursday, March 13th, 2025. I'm Marty Sleva, joined by Nick Colanger, producer Eric. Casey was here a second ago, and then he saw that Devolver had a Steam sale right now, and he fucking left the call. It is insane. We're like, Casey, you can't do it. He's like, I gotta get Pepper Grinder and Children of the Sun. First off, thank you, Devolver, for being a wonderful sponsor. And no, Casey is wrapping up some work on the Ubisoft front, which is one of the topics we're going to talk about. Casey will be joining us halfway through the show, but we got a great show for you today because we're going to be talking about the Rainbow Six Siege X reveal. And by we, I mean, I'm going to ask Nick, what's all of this? And Nick is going to tell us sort of the future of Rainbow Six Siege was revealed today. And then speaking of reveals today, there was a Silent Hill F transmission, one of the showcases from Konami that showed off the next big Silent Hill game. This is the one that got teased a few years ago, set in 60s Japan. Very different for Silent Hill, but looks very cool. So Jesse and I got to stream that on Twitch, and so we'll chat a little bit about that. Also, this weekend, this is again the first thing was not very Marty centric. These two things extremely Marty centric. The Death Stranding 2 trailer over the weekend from South by Southwest. It's 10 minutes long. It is insane. It gave a date at the end, which Nick, one of my games. I'm just saying, one of my games. We coming. And so we'll chat about that, and then a bunch of stuff we've been playing. I got to play a little bit of Split Fiction, some Wanderstop. Nick, you played a very cool game that you keep telling me to play, and I keep forgetting to download.
How rude.
I know, extremely rude of me. How are you doing? Are you all set for GDC? You're heading to GDC. You and Jemate going to GDC, the Games Developers Conference in San Francisco on Sunday.
Yep, my schedule's filling up. I thought I was gonna have a bit more open schedule, and now it has completely filled up, and to the point that I'm like, yeah, can you meet during lunch because that's the only break I have.
Should have done that. Oh no, you're gonna be canceling out people.
Nope, I will not. But yeah, some people were like, yep, can you meet during lunch? Oh, can you meet after the showcase at 8 p.m.? And I was like, yeah.
Meet over beer pong?
That'd be great, actually. That'd be fun.
There's a ping pong bar. Well, there was a ping pong bar right near the convention center. When I was living there, I don't know. Maybe you could just turn it into a beer pong bar. So it'll be fun.
I think I'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there for St. Patty's Day, so I'm interested to see what that's like.
Oh, a shit show. Holy
yeah.
moly. I mean, at least it's a Monday one, so I bet people are going to go crazy on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. Oh my God. I lived on a street that was just full of bars, just like 5 bars per block.
Yeah.
And during SantaCon, which was, I don't know if you guys have SantaCon in Kansas City, but it's like a day.
Santa,
like a Santa convention.
Okay.
It's I think it started in New York, and now it's in a couple big cities where it's like one Saturday in December. People just wake up early, dress up as Santa, exactly, and get shithouse drunk at 9 a.m. And let me tell you, going out to get a bagel and coffee at 11 a.m. and seeing puking Santas and girls drunk crying Santas is this is terrible. This is why kids don't live in the city, because you terrify them.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that here. I mean, we do have like a annual pub crawl that the city does.
Sure.
Where you get like a really ugly sweater.
I like that. I'm a big fan of these ugly sweaters.
Yeah.
I like looking like a fucking scoundrel before someone comes in and says all your sweaters are ugly. Fuck you.
But yeah, no, I'm. You know what? I'm happy that we have an extra hour of daylight now, because I was getting pretty depressed by having nighttime hit at like 5 o'clock every day. And I'm like, I'd like to
wrapping up work and being like, now I can. And then you look outside and you're like, oh, this is really depressing. Yeah.
Now I can go sit outside on my deck, watch my dogs run around for a little bit, just enjoy the evening, and not feel immediately tired when I load up a video game.
Then you can just put on the news if you want to get depressed.
Oh no,
it's very easy to depress.
We don't watch the news in this house now. We just read Reddit comments.
Extremely easy to depress yourself. And before we get started on our first topic, thank you so much to so many familiar faces in the YouTube chat and the Green Gang. Folks like Wags Project just upgraded to the tip jar. Jewel Rao with a €5 dono. Thank you so much, Jewel. Is Kojimbo's cooking again? The second win collab when? Nick, talk to your best friend.
I have to play Death Stranding 2 and write another article.
Honorary friend of the show. Are you? No, we're going to get there. I'm not going to ask about Death Stranding yet. We're going to get there.
Sir George Lucas did bring up a good point. So speaking of ugly, Nick is wearing the wrong hat again. Where's Avalanche? Sorry to tell you guys, 3 months is up. 3 months is up. So if you want me to wear more Avalanche hat, get over to Patreon and make me suffer some more. No. Otherwise, that thing's going in the fire pit as soon as I get the chance.
Get over in the fire. Don't burn it. That's what you did with the cat earphones. You got to take care of the garbage you put on your head. You don't know where they are.
I don't know where they are. I didn't burn them. That's bad for the environment. Nobody wants those things mucking up our air. But you know what? I have a better idea for the Avalanche hat. I'm going to take it and drop it off to San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, no! Some fucking dolphin's going to get his nose stuck in the Avalanche hat. And then King Dead with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, King Dead. A street full of Billy Bob Thornton Santas sound horrible. It's legitimately like that. King Dead, you're not even kidding. It's just exactly like that. It's terrible. SantaCon is terrible and awful, and Bad Santa is incredible. Have you ever seen Bad Santa, Nick?
I have seen Bad Santa.
Okay,
yes.
I was gonna say that you would love that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, when he's fighting with the little guy in the ring.
Oh my god, that is great! Punch each other in the nuts. And also throughout the show, we'll have plenty of comments and concerns and questions from our wonderful patrons, as Nick mentioned. At that $5 tier and above on Patreon, you can ask your questions and have your comments on the show. So we got some good ones about Silent Hill and Death Stranding, because we didn't ask anything about Rainbow Six Siege X. But we don't need to, because we got a Rainbow Six Siege expert here right now. Nick, I don't know what's going on. Why is there an X at the end of Rainbow Six now?
I don't know why I wasn't invited to play the game on the show there.
Where it was like Atlanta or something?
I think it was Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
They probably knew I was traveling to GDC and didn't want to.
They probably knew you too good. You got too many platinums. You're triple platinum.
It's true.
What is this? Is this Rainbow Six Siege 2?
No, it's not. I think a lot of companies, Activision, have made the mistake of announcing a sequel to their live service games, and then they don't do so well. So Rainbow Six Siege X is it's Rainbow Six Siege still, but they're basically just doing a bunch of big upgrades to the game. So some new environmental destruction aspects. They got a new game mode, which I tried to watch today. I think I just need to play it before it makes sense. It's like a new 6v6 kind of push and pull kind of game mode that I'm interested in, even though I'd be okay if Siege just stayed bomb forever, but they need to bring new players in. So a lot of these updates are, making it easier for people to get into the game and start it, because it has a serious learning curve if you are going to play it and be good at it.
Yeah, I mean, granted, the only Siege I don't think I've ever played Siege proper, but I did play Siege Aliens. Remember that game?
Oh yeah. Extraction.
And that even felt like a learning curve, and I'm sure that was like dumbed down Siege. Mm-hmm. Did this stuff seem exciting? Like, does it seem like this was a point where, because Siege has been around for a long time. Like, I remember playing it at E3, fucking 2016, maybe 2017, something like that. So maybe 2015,
2014 it came out. So
oh my god, 2013. We're just gonna keep going back. I remember playing it a very long time ago, and like, you've been following it pretty closely for a long time. Does it feel like they kind of needed this refresh, this reboot, this kind of adrenaline shot?
Yeah, I think so. If they want to get, I mean, it's still one of the most popular online games out there. But if they want to get in a new wave and keep it sustained for 10 more years, then you get some visual enhancements in this, you get some gameplay enhancements in this. They fixed repelling, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see how this new mode does, because they've tried other modes in Siege, like even adding in TDM and like the
What's
core
TDM?
audience team deathmatch. Like Siege on its own is a very objective based game, and the only game mode, like there's 3 game modes. There's bomb, hostage, and secure the area. And when you play ranked or unranked, where you're at my level, you only play bomb. That's the only mode you play.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Siege is, to me, is the best. I think it's the best supported live service game out there.
Not a lot of games from that time that are still kicking.
And it's had its problems. And like, it's not a perfect game or anything, but I mean, it is the only game in my life that I have stuck with for 10 years, which is insane to me.
Yeah,
I was playing this my freshman year of college.
Yeah, that's extremely rare.
Started college almost a decade ago.
Oh no!
What the fuck?
There is a beta of some sorts, right?
Just to try out this new mode, and apparently
is that a thing you'll be able to like talk about once you play it?
Yes.
I don't know if it's closed. Okay.
No, it's closed, but you can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
They want you to watch like 30 minutes of live streams to get a code, but thankfully we have KC there, so I got some Ian's.
As a reminder, Casey wrapping up his work on that, and he will be on the show probably like halfway through.
Yeah.
Dios mio, thank you so much for the dono. Said Ubisoft didn't invite Nick to playtest because they were afraid of that. Well, yeah, this will do well from Nick. As his predictions go, the Ubisoft HQ would probably just explode. You're pretty good at predicting what a game will do well. We make fun of you for predicting we'll like a game. Individuals will like a game. You're generally pretty spot on when a temperature check on if a game will critically, commercially do well or not.
Yeah, but if I had my unpacked out that I was working on for this week, that Spectre Divide game that I made a prediction on Unpacked a few months ago was going to implode. It did. They're shutting it down this week, so yeah. That's
the dev heads folks are going to be talking about that tomorrow, which should be fun because Tina obviously has a rich history in multiplayer shooters. So
I want to attack my business prowess. I know what I'm talking about. I may not know what Yahtzee likes because nobody knows what Yahtzee likes.
Roasted. Rainbow Six. It's gonna. So just because I'm dumb, like this will just take over for Rainbow Six Siege. So if someone were to download Rainbow Six Siege, it will just be this thing. Right?
It's like
a player base here and a player base here.
Yeah, it's like when Counter-Strike went to Counter-Strike 2. Same game, just overhauled engine, new stuff. So, personally, I was hoping for maybe a little bit.
Sure.
But also, Siege is one of those games that I've played for so long. I'm like, please don't change it. it's good the way it is.
Don't rock the boat. Yeah, it's a tough thing of like, how do you get a new audience without alienating your core audience?
Call of Duty runs into that problem every year.
Yeah, absolutely. But transitioning from X to F. The Silent Hill F transmission aired just about 2 hours ago. Jesse Galena and I watched it on our Twitch channel. And this was about a 30-minute presentation that was the first deep dive into Silent Hill F, which is one of the games that was announced alongside Silent Hill 2 remake, as well as Ascension, which was that really bad kind of like multiplayer choose your own adventure thing that's already dead, and Townfall, which is the indie game from No Code and Annapurna, which we still haven't heard from since then. Obviously Annapurna's had some turnover on the publishing side, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, they just did their Annapurna just had their showcase.
And they just had a showcase. Well, and like Wanderstop, which we'll talk about later, is Annapurna. Wheel World, which is coming out in a few months, is Annapurna. So games still kicking. Just curious about this one. But this was all about Silent Hill F, which seems like the next mainline Silent Hill game set in 1960s Japan. The F is like a lowercase f, so it looks like a forte sign. So it almost feels like music is a big part of this. But this is to start with the good, what they've shown of the game, which they showed off like a little 90-second trailer and then cut to a bunch of sort of behind the scenes stuff. But the trailer itself looks really cool. Like the theme of the game is the beauty in terror and the terror in beauty. And just as a setting, this looks way different than anything they've had before in Silent Hill. The fact that it's set in Japan for the first time and not Silent Hill, the city in northeastern America, set in the 60s. You play as this girl we don't know what she's looking for, but it is clear that she's sort of entering this evil world. And instead of kind of the rust taking over and entering the evil worlds of Silent Hill, it's these like red lilies that are kind of like multiplying and getting towards you and reaching out towards you. Again, we didn't see a lot, like gameplay wise. We didn't see any real gameplay. Like she was carrying a pipe at one point to imply that she has to hit things with the pipe. But when they were talking to Akira Yamaoka, the composer, afterwards, he said that their whole idea was really to mix things up, a completely different setting. And he said completely different gameplay, which Jesse and I were like, what does that mean? Like,
yeah, what does that mean for a survival horror game?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is? Yeah, and they didn't really show anything. So, yeah, I will say it looked cool. We still left with tons and tons of questions. There's no release date or even year on it. However, they did say it's coming to PC, all platforms, including Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. So that's good. It's not, Silent Hill 2 did not come to Xbox.
I guess I should be careful saying it because like we thought kind of we're worried about Bloober Team, but the development team behind this doesn't have a great track record.
So yeah, that's a great thing to bring up. This is developed by Neobards, which are, I believe, a Taiwanese.
Casey can join.
Oh yeah,
Casey's
coming.
Casey.
It's our Neobard. Our Neobard himself has arrived. Look at that! Look how seamless that was.
Man, how was the Devolver sale?
Yeah, we said that obviously we let people know that you were so excited that the ad was for that you found out about Devolver sale that you just left the show as soon as we started. And we were like, well, shit. So he's back now that he purchased all his games, including Pepper Grinder.
Devolver would be a good reason to do that. They do have a pretty good stable. And
it's like that feels like a Devolver centric goof of like being so excited that there's a sale that lasts an entire week that you just leave the pod.
FOMO.
Yeah, you didn't miss too. We talked about Nick's trip. We talked about this Rainbow Six Siege thing that you don't care about, and we're now talking about the Silent Hill thing.
Oh yeah, I watched the trailer.
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about how the trailer looks really cool. Like what they showed looked pretty cool in my opinion. However, we don't know what the gameplay is like, and they said they're really mixing things up for the gameplay, which we don't know what that means. And also, we're a little worried because the lead developers. Neobards are this Taiwanese developer who've done a lot of work with Capcom in the past, including Resident Evil Reverse, which is not highly regarded. They also did some work on Marvel's Avengers, which is not highly regarded.
I mean, it's highly regarded by you. You love that game.
That's because I was sad because there was a pandemic. You could have put anything in front of me. You could have put Reverse in front of me.
Was Reverse the one that was like asymmetrical? Someone's building traps and another was going through it? Or is this something else?
Resident Evil, and I didn't play it.
I was nodding in hopes that Nick would answer that question because I don't remember. I just ended up hating. I just dunked on Reverse without actually playing it. Like a good
well, there was like 3 different multiplayer games for Resident Evil: Operation Raccoon City, and then Reverse, and what was the one that came with 8? Resistance, Project Resistance.
Yeah, which they love an RE word.
I don't think anybody played it.
No,
I don't think a single person played Project Resistance because I didn't even know it released.
But like you said, Nick, we were similarly skeptical of Bloober Team, and they really knocked it out of the park with Silent Hill 2. Granted, they were they had a generation-defining game to draw from, whereas this is an original thing. But I think the Japanese setting, is very cool. Japanese 60s setting, very different from not only Silent Hill, but just a lot of like horror games. It's Fatal Frame and Siren are the closest things, and those franchises are kind of dormant-y, so.
Like Silent Hill, like it's had a lot of entries, but like, are those entries ever? Do they all revolve around a central theme, or is it kind of like it's just a scary game set in a?
Yeah, like
do they all take place in Silent Hill?
So 3 is a direct sequel to 1. The rest of them are very separate, and with very separate stories. Most of them are set in Silent Hill, and the thing is like the town is like gazes into your soul, into your inner demons, and manifests them. So it's much like the town is kind of just like a metaphor for, oh, you're gonna have to face your fucking demons and really deal with this shit in a specific way.
Okay.
The only one I played before Silent Hill 2 remake was Downpour on the 360.
That was bad. That was a bad.
That
one.
was real bad. Yeah,
you shouldn't have played that one. It was raining the whole time.
It was a review copy sent to me without my asking of it.
You didn't have to play it then.
So wait, this one it used to be cool to be games media. You got physical copies in the mail.
I don't want things in the mail. Send me less things.
I argue that mail was never cool.
Mail was cool at some point, right?
I mean, you don't like all the spam mail you get to your house?
Like you used to get a magazine that was exciting.
Yeah. Especially
that's fair.
Especially if it have a demo disc in it.
Couple of these.
All right, you're selling me on mail.
All right, we're back. We're back.
All right, I'm going to send you all my old magazines now to get them out of my house.
We've refunded the postal service. Everything is fine. Pixel Grip also in the Patreon. Thank you so much. Pixel Grip said that now that Silent 2 has been remade, which other Silent Hill games would you want to be remade next? So there's some reports that Bloober Team is doing another Silent Hill remake, and the confusing thing is what they would do, because like I said, 3 is kind of a sequel to 1, and it's like, well, do you just go back and then remake 1, which is kind of a short game, or do you combine 1 and 3 into a single thing, or do you just go to 4, which is like the weirdest of the original 4 that could probably use a modern refresh on it? I don't know.
I bet
Starting with 2 seems like, I get why they did it, because it was the most popular of them.
That's the one.
Because that's the
2
one.
is the one.
But then what happens when it's good and then you need to do the 1? And then
it's kind of why they shouldn't do this. Like, they should probably just do a new okay, you finish the task, you remade Silent Hill 2. Now, Bloober Team, you have the honor of making a new Silent Hill. Like, that's what should happen.
And we've talked about that before with like Grezzo, the Nintendo developer who worked on they did the Link's Awakening 3D remake, which was really good and really highly regarded. And then Nintendo was like, okay, you could do Echoes of Wisdom. Granted, everyone played Echoes of Wisdom, was like, well, this isn't great. But still, it's fine. You should be rewarded for doing good work, even if your next thing
It was a good try. It was a good idea.
They are rewarded. They have the money to make that Chronos the New Dawn, which looks like Dead Space.
Yeah, that's a weird... I forgot about that game.
How can you forget about that game?
Because it's called Chronos the New Dawn, Nick.
There's not enough video game titles to go around anymore, Marty. There's
We're out of video game titles.
We're on letters now.
And to be fair, Eric, I didn't not like Echoes of Wisdom. I just don't think about it. It's the same thing with Mario Wonder. I just don't think about either of them anymore.
Yeah, Mario Wonder kind of came and went. Like, it was a real big splash, but it doesn't seem to have had a very lasting impact.
Honestly, it came out the same day or the same weekend as Spider-Man 2, and I feel the same way about Spider-Man 2. I enjoyed them both.
Yeah.
I burned through them, and I do not think about those 2 games.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe I should just savor things more. Maybe that's the problem.
How can you have time to think about those games when you're replaying all the... What are you replaying right now?
What was it, Chrono Trigger?
First off, Chrono Trigger, and no, that's the only game I'm replaying right now. Everything else is new.
I don't believe you.
No, Grandia I've never played before. Pokemon X I've never played before. The games I'll talk about and what we've been playing I've never played before. However, which we're going to get to in the next segment, I'm thinking about doing not only a Death Stranding replay, I'm thinking about doing a goddamn Metal Gear replay because it seems like Stranded Snake is in that game.
Stranded Snake.
Stranded Snake. I don't know if you guys know about
I like
him,
that.
but let me tell you, I'm very excited. But before we get there, Fella Guy, thank you so much for a $5 dono. I hope that I can get into Death Stranding 2. Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game series of all time, but I didn't love the first Death Stranding. You know what?
Should go read my article back on The Escapist about it.
Someone here can teach you how to love Death Stranding.
Yeah.
And it's the love guru himself, Nick Calandra.
Ooh.
Yeah, do you want to look up that link and share it? Or do you want to just share a Google Doc?
That's Eric's job.
It's your article. You can do it.
He'll find it faster than me.
Casey, I'm glad you're as ashamed as I am right now. Eric, don't look at it. Just put a link to something you've done instead. I want to see that.
Just give people clues, and hopefully they'll find it.
He found it.
Oh,
it's in the chat.
Eric. Eric, we got to teach him to fish.
He's too good for his own good.
Good for his own good.
I've been scheduling and answering emails all day. I need a break.
That's not an
David,
excuse.
That's not an excuse. It's called work. It's called work. We
Like,
fucking work. We both worked all day. We both worked all day. David with a $20 dono. Thank you so much. Also, Nick and I have been very polite to each other, and then as soon as Casey came, things got a little feisty. I'm gonna say,
Don't blame hostility on me.
I don't think it's your fault. I think you bring that.
Fault.
I think a third
it's
person.
his looks. It's his looks. Like you and I will say something, and Casey will make like a, and then we instantly start fighting. It's like both of our
He
triggers.
does do and a lot.
I don't have an actual response to this.
I think it's
accusation.
just
This is a very
third
professional
party.
podcast until you got here.
I don't think it would have mattered who the third party was. I think a third party generally just anyone could have filled that third seat, and I probably would have started making fun of things.
No, I think if Omar was here, you wouldn't know what to do, because Omar's like chiller than all of us.
But I want to make Omar laugh.
Except when he drives his drone over a waterfall in Iceland and he thinks he lost it. Then he got very concerned and very emotive.
That's because that's an international incident. Omar doesn't want to go to goddamn jail. He's newlywed.
Yeah, well,
before he was wet.
Shout out to Omar. David with a $20 dono. Thank you so much, David. I've been a Patreon member for over a year, and I'm only today finally able to see a podcast live. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, David.
Congrats.
We appreciate
God for
it.
daylight
Did it.
savings time.
I'm sorry that
already, didn't it?
it did. David light savings time. Ooh. Ryan Betts, tip jar. Thanks, Ryan. What did you guys think about David light savings time?
Casey and
I
I
love that
both
pass,
gave the
but I
same
wasn't sure if you
exact.
guys liked it or not.
I looked
Also,
at
like-
Casey and we gave the exact same face reaction at
Ooh,
the
was it
exact
the
same
ooh
time.
Yeah,
face?
did I do the?
It was like the side like.
Mm-hmm. Thousands of people just listen to this podcast and are like, "What? They're just making noises now." Like it's not even.
Oh yeah, well whenever Marty does something weird, we're just gonna start making like grunting noises. Like
If we want to get philosophical, all we do is make noises.
that's true.
Damn.
Language
about
is
it,
just
Someone
noisy.
went to the
about
Devolver digital sale. Prime Paradiso with a £2 dono.
Ooh,
Thanks so
that's
much,
a beautiful
Prime.
name.
We'll always be crushed that we didn't get Silent Hills. I mean, I don't think Silent Hills could have ever lived up to what our idea of Silent Hills is. So maybe it's better that we never got it. Maybe it's cooler because we never got it. It's like a band that has like a lost album. Maybe it's cooler because it doesn't exist. And also Kojima's putting that he's shooting that venom all over Death Stranding. He's getting his poison all over that game.
Maybe
so
that's
I'm not
what's
too
wrong
worried
with
about
it. Like I know people like Death Stranding, but like maybe part of
Don't
just
you insult
its-
my best friend?
Close personal friend.
like maybe like these are all the dregs of what he wasn't allowed to do or was prevented from doing in what some shape or fashion, just like you said, just all sprayed out on the canvas, like I need to get this out of me. And so like it's very much the most Kojima you can get, but that's maybe too much Kojima for most people.
I can't believe you're saying that. It's only that he took over the main character, the main actor of Silent Hills, and made him the main character of the next game, and then his creative partner Guillermo del Toro and took him into the game. So I don't understand what you're saying there.
And then he put a Solid Snake, who's not Solid Snake, in this game.
Spread
It's
his
like,
Kojima
His name is
everywhere.
Stranded Snake. His name is actually not Stranded Snake, but I'm just calling him that because I think it's a cool name.
Do you
There he
think
is.
he's what's his the guy that voices the snake? Do you think he's gonna bring him into the game?
David Hayter?
No, 'cause
I think
it was Kojima's idea to switch him out for Kiefer Sutherland. That wasn't.
Listen, even geniuses make one mistake in their life, and the mistake was getting Kiefer instead of Sal. But it's not. It's not Snake. We're not Snake.
I don't think it was a mistake. I mean, okay, it was a mistake in the
It was
sense
a
that
mistake. That's what it was.
Kiefer Sutherland was probably too expensive, so he couldn't get as much Kiefer Sutherland as he wanted, and I think that's what ended up being the mistake. But Kojima very intentionally was like, "F David Hayter, I want stardom. I want Hollywood stardom in this."
Yeah, I have graduated to the star of 24.
You know, I was always surprised in the original Death Stranding that, like, you know, since cities literally get nuked if somebody just dies there, you didn't name one of the cities after Konami.
Nami Town.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty good. Pretty good. Took place in America. There's nowhere in America named Konami Town. You know, that America that looks exactly like Iceland that you can walk across in a few days.
It's post-apocalyptic America.
Yeah, I was very confused when I got to Iceland because I was like, this looks a lot like America.
I got some fat theories for Death Stranding 2 that we'll get to very soon. Far too many frogs though with the $2 dono thing. So much. Oh my gods, everyone moved. It's fine. Eric's so smooth when he does it. He's like the Rob Thomas Carlos Santana song "Smooth." You remember that song?
I fucking love that song.
Casey, I know Casey remembers that song. I think there's a 0% chance Nick knows what that song is.
Like you said, Rob Thomas. I'm like, he can't be talking about the lead singer of Matchbox 20.
He is.
But he was.
He is. I bet Kojima would be a big fan of Rob Thomas and would put Rob Thomas in his soul sucking machine if Rob Thomas ever made his way to Tokyo.
Put him on the soundtrack for Death Stranding trailer.
And you're so smooth.
It would work,
man.
I saw a bunch of people in the comments of the Death Stranding 2 trailer saying they were glad Low Roar isn't back.
They didn't like Low Roar?
I guess
Did one of the
not.
dudes die from Low Roar?
Well, that might explain that.
Well, they shouldn't be glad that they're not back, but like, I like Woodkid, but man, Low Roar.
Yeah, Woodkid's really good.
First game,
I'd not heard of him
phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I like Woodkid too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Kojima's good at music. I have full faith.
Yeah,
in
he's got great
Kojima's-
music taste. I should just follow all his music recommendations.
Hell yeah. So yeah, to just get to it, there was a big Death Stranding to South by Southwest presentation over the weekend with Kojima, Norman Reedus, Troy Baker, and the titular Woodkid. Titular? None of that was titular. I used that, but did not use that correctly. They had an hour-long chat about the game, but also showed off the new 10-minute-long trailer edited by Kojima himself in typical what the fuck is going on fashion, and also announced a June 26th release date, so coming in just 2 or 3 months, just to PlayStation 5. So some people hoped that it might have also been coming to PC day and date. Does not look like that's the case. Death Stranding 1 is currently on Xbox and PC, but it took a while for them to get there. So
that's being maintained? Like, is that still contractual, you think?
No, because I believe Kojima bought the rights to Death Stranding.
Money.
Yeah, so maybe it's just one of those things of we want to build the game and then have someone else port it. Because I believe 505 published the PC ports that probably helped with that.
Gotcha.
Bummer, but the trailer was one of those things. As someone who loves the first game but hasn't played it in 5 years, it like genuinely nonsensical. Don't understand who most of these things or people or what is happening are. Looks really great. We mentioned the character Neil, who is Stranded Snake, who seems we see him at the beginning of the trailer and at the end of the trailer when he puts his bandana on. I don't know if this is going to be a minor character, a major character, an antagonist, or if they're going to pull a Metal Gear Solid 2, a rug pull. We ain't Reedus. Reedus is too expensive. Reedus doesn't want to talk too much in this game. But Neil, the Italian boy who plays Neil, I don't know why I call him a boy. He's probably 40. The Italian man who plays Neil might be game. But showed a bunch of things. One of my theories is it felt like they showed a binome that represented each continent. And my theory is that we have connected and then broken the connection in the U.S. in North America, and every open world in the game is going to be one of the continents. And so there is an Antarctic open world, there is an African open world, a South American open world, a European. I don't know why I'm naming all the continents for you guys. You probably know most of them. If I said one that was a surprise to you, that'd be neat. Because they showed like these like deserts and sandstorms. They showed like deep rivers and jungles. They showed mountains and avalanches. They showed like European looking cities. So I do think it's going to be.
And there was nothing like that in the first game, right? Like the first game was very much, this is one location and it's mostly rocks.
Maybe some little forests.
Yeah, there was like a little forest, but there was no like jungles or like true African deserts or anything like that. And the tagline of this game is "We shouldn't have connected." The whole first game is like, we got to connect. Listen, what we got to do is we got to connect. And then Kojima lived through the pandemic and saw what the internet turned us all into. And he's like, we made a mistake. Social media. We made a mistake, and we should not have connected. So as less, I guess, is really Kojima zealots than I am. What did you guys think of the trailer?
I honestly only just surfed through it to see what the gameplay looked like because I knew I wouldn't understand any of the story stuff. I didn't want to watch a 10-minute trailer. So
Oh man, it is very self-indulgent, that trailer.
yeah. But I am not surprised, but also surprised to see like way more focus on action this time.
Yes.
Which I think is good. Because the sequel should build on the foundations of the original, and the action in the first game wasn't good. So, yeah, I don't know what I would compare that to. Like a first game that didn't have a lot of action, and the second game gets way more actiony. I guess Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2.
Mass Effect 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even Metal Gear Solid 1 to 2, like the amount of things you can do, your moveset greatly increases in 2 compared to 1. Just being able to pull up your gun and go into first person, the hanging off the ledges of things. So it does feel like he's kind of done this before in his past. Yeah. Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, that's an interesting one. But AC, what did you think of this?
Yeah, I am a fan of Kojima. Like I really loved all of the nonsense that he put into Metal Gear games. But Death Stranding does feel a bit impenetrable to me because like the thing that would draw me in past all the bullshit, or at least get me in the door to all the Kojima bullshit, would be the interesting gameplay mechanics. And like I remember streaming with Jack as he played through Death Stranding and just couldn't. Like it was like I couldn't deal with what that game is.
So far and away from a game that Jack would enjoy.
but like that's how I feel. This like I feel like it looks like, and I'm generally fairly good at looking at a thing, like getting a good deep look at gameplay and be like, not for me. So like I've kind of just stayed away from it in that aspect. So I was kind of hopeful that Death Stranding 2 would maybe be like, all right, we connected the world. We don't have to deliver these packages. Now let's fight whatever the hell this problem is, and maybe that would entice me more. But this trailer really doesn't do much in terms of selling you on gameplay. It still looks similar, I guess, to what the first game did. And I do think at this point Kojima is much more interested in telling this story. Like he just has actors coming out the wazoo, and he gets to direct them and tell them what to do, and he's having the time of his life. So I don't know how much I'd get invested into that.
Yeah, without knowing for sure, my gut says there is going to be more action because I do think delivering packages, if just judging by the tagline of the game, the theme, and the fact that they talked about how he's been talking literally since the studio was built. Like when I went and shot a little doc about it, he was talking about how the main theme he wants to explore is how humanity is a series of ropes and sticks, and the ropes bring us together, and we use and then when we get too close together, we use the sticks to beat each other and tear ourselves apart. And like the first game was about using rope to bring us together, and it seems like they literally say in the trailer sometimes like at a certain point America had to get the sticks out, and I think Kojima was like, all right, Sam's getting the sticks out, and so I think we're going to be
that excites me. Yeah, like that's a reality.
There's rope people and there's stick people out there. Surprisingly, for the
I imagine the loop is going to be traveling to each of these destinations, and then you have packages or whatever to bring. But from the trailer alone, I kind of got vibes that like maybe the package delivering is secondary to what this game is going to be.
I hope every package is just he gets to the front door of a place and then pulls a gun out of the package.
Delivered your guns.
Like, we've been doing
he's going to be a weapons trafficker
times.
Now. That's what he's turning into.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're all bombs. We had a couple Patreon messages related to this that came in earlier today. Inverse Skies, thank you so much at the $5 tier in Patreon, said the thing that impresses me most about Death Stranding was the asynchronous multiplayer, finding bridges or ladders left by other players, or chipping away to build a road that had an amazing feeling. I think this is underutilized in games. In what ways do you think that could be explored further in the medium?
Yeah, that's gonna have invasions.
I like that's the thing, is if the first game was we are coming together and I'm gonna build a ladder, I climbed a mountain and I'm gonna build an easy way for the next person to get up this mountain.
No, I won't be able to ladder up behind you.
I think it is legitimately like,
how could you screw people over?
Yeah, because I
think it's gonna be like Souls-like invasion.
Yeah, that's the opposite, right? Yeah, the Strand thing was kind of the opposite of Souls invasion. So yeah, if we are on the opposite end of connecting, then I guess it would be invasions.
The ladder just breaks in the middle.
You just poison water.
You just
start pissing in people's
create
water
traps.
source. Yeah. And then Mr. Jocko 12, also in the Patreon, thank you so much, said, since Kojima is including some form of Snake in Death Stranding 2 on the beach, will Marty be playing all the Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid games in preparation? In all seriousness, Death Stranding was my first Kojima game, and I can't tell if Kojima is going back to Snake. If Kojima going back to Snake is him losing the plot or genius auteur shit, either way, can't wait. I have a feeling the Snake thing is going to be relatively small. I have a feeling it's going to be like a little goof. Like, I don't think there's going to be I don't think this is him doing, because he's literally making a game for PlayStation that's a tactical espionage.
Oh, that's right.
Game.
He did,
Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, that's going to be his Snake thing. I think this is more of like,
I don't think
just
you
a
can
little
deviate
nod
too much
that he
from
put in
what
the
Death
trailer,
Stranding was, without losing people that liked what it was.
yeah.
Me, because I was on KC's side of the fence, and then I played it, and then I loved it.
But you were also on the other side of the fence before that, so why wouldn't you just like another game that's like that?
It's like one of those games that like you can't get that same experience more than once. I think, like, Death Stranding is definitely not a game that I would have any desire to ever go back and replay.
Sure.
Like when you get those like musical crescendos when you top a mountain or whatever and going down towards a new place, like those are like super memorable moments for me when I played that game. And it's like, can Death Stranding 2 recreate that, or is it going to be more of that?
It's going to be that with a lot of Woodkid.
You know what? I'm okay with Woodkid.
I don't know why I said his name like that. He seems very talented. Yeah, I liked his jacket. Seems French, maybe.
But also, I worked on the Assassin's Creed thing for next week, but like my gaming tastes have changed, where I've gotten much more patient with games than I used to be, where I needed constant action and stuff like that to kind of keep me engaged with it. And lately I'm like, okay, well, I can just walk down this cool forest path for 5 minutes and not lose my mind.
And yet you still haven't bought Warm Monkey. Interesting.
Well,
I haven't played it.
It's very intense. Talking about monkeys jumping over the street and getting run over by cars. I don't know.
It's horrifying. It's truly horrifying. And Mr. Jocko, I'm gonna replay Metal Gear Solid 2. I did 1 last year. I'm gonna replay 2 and 3. Not for Death Stranding, for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that's coming out at the end of the summer.
All right.
To have that nice and fresh in my head, because it makes perfect sense to replay a game before you play a game that's just a 1-to-1 remake of it, because it's a good way to spend our time on this dying earth. And then Ryan Petron, thank you so much. A little outside the box here, said, with a flurry of exclusives on the PlayStation 5, including the upcoming Death Stranding 2, is it worth buying if you have an entire library and Game Pass available to you on Xbox? Also, if anyone wants to send me one, I will play Spider-Man like mad. Nick said he will send you his PlayStation 5, so just get in touch with Nick, which is great. Would you guys recommend, if you had an Xbox, if someone already had an Xbox and Game Pass, do you think there are enough at this point PlayStation 5 exclusives to recommend to someone?
I guess it depends on the types of games you like, because you got lots of open world action adventure games between Spider-Man, Horizon. You got lots of remasters if you want those. If you haven't played a PS4, then yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think if you didn't own a PS4, then yeah, buy a PS5 and you'll get a lot of runway of all the PS4 games that you can play on it and PS5 exclusives. That's what I would do. But if you had a PS4, I don't know. My PS5 doesn't get turned on very much.
Yeah, and there are good games on the PS5, but it doesn't feel like a console's worth yet.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you were a big fan of all the stuff, like, unless you don't have a PC, because a lot of their best stuff has now come to PC or will eventually come to PC, it still doesn't seem like a great decision. Because like Spider-Man 2, like we said, kind of came and went. Like God of War Ragnarok kind of came and went. Like,
it did. Yeah, there are, I don't want to poo-poo the PS5. I really like my PS5, and I think I would lean towards yes. I think at this point there's stuff, if you go back to early on, you had Demon Souls and Returnal. last year Game of the Year, Astrobot, the Final Fantasy VII games and Final Fantasy 16 are still not on Xbox. They are on PC. A lot of these games are on PC now if you have a PC. There's stuff I really like. Helldivers 2 last year. That's not on
PC.
Xbox. That is on PC though. But then we've seen trailers. Ghost of Yote. No.
Sorry, God damn it, you made me mess up now.
Yote.
Tay.
So Nick I'm trying to learn, and you're trying to be old Marty. You don't want to be old Marty over here. Don't old Marty. And then obviously Intergalactic, the new. That was the name of it, right?
Yeah. There's a subtitle. I've forgotten it.
Planetary. That's a Naughty Dog game. The follow to Returnal also looked really cool.
Once we get those release dates for Ghost of Yote and the new game for the Returnal.
Casey broke us.
I know. Now I'm trying to make sure I say it right, and then I confuse myself.
I fuck up every time. I fucked up like 10 times in a straight.
I don't. Sorry.
See, we told you. Casey is the reason we fight.
You're trying to make us better people. We are bad people. You're doing good work. We are bad.
But yeah, I feel like between the middle of this year into next year is gonna be the time that PS5 becomes really enticing with Naughty Dog's new game.
The follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the new Sony
is that all though?
When
I all they have in the pipe?
No, I mean they've got
in terms of
who knows at this point, because they just canceled all those live service games. So like, what is Sony Santa Monica working on? Was Bluepoint only working on that live service game?
Is Marathon going to be a dud, or is it going to be cool?
Yeah, so I don't know, but it's kind of.
I assume Marathon will be on everything, right?
Yeah, it's multi-platform.
Yeah, Bungie's allowed to do what they want still, I think.
Yeah. But I was thinking like this question. Like, there's not a game that immediately comes to mind that I was like, I have to run out and buy a PS5 today. And I could say the same about Xbox Series X. Like, neither of those consoles, I feel like, have had their killer, you must buy a console for this exclusive yet, because Starfield was supposed to be.
I'm not sure the PS4 or the Xbox One did either, did they? Maybe I would like past that point in time.
No, I would have said
PS4.
I would have said Uncharted. I would have said Uncharted 4 are definitely for the PS4.
I think God of War,
God of War,
like, that was like, Uncharted. Go get a PS something.
Maybe that's the problem, is that we had God of War, we had Spider-Man, we had Horizon,
the first Spider-Man,
like the last one, like it felt like Ghost of Tsushima, and now we're just getting sequels, which are very cool, but it does kind of just feel like a little more of the thing we already know.
I think it's might be a larger topic there about like sequels now compared to sequels back then, because like back Halo is a good example. Like the technology increase between Halo and Halo 2 like made it feel brand new and special, where a lot of sequels now are like, it's this but better.
Yeah.
Is that true of most sequels, or is it just true of Sony's first party sequels? Because I feel like that is a rut that they fell into before some of these bigger games as well, because they're always chasing that sort of big cinematic thing. I don't know for sure everyone else who decided to finally put a 2 on their game suffers the same issue.
Like, what's the last 2 that really? So it didn't get to the same heights, but I feel like Remnant 2 took a big leap.
Yeah,
like it didn't get to like Remnant didn't quite crack the like, oh, everyone is talking about this, but it feels like the leap from Remnant 1 to Remnant 2 was that same thing, but Remnant 1 was just kind of lower tier for people.
You know what's so funny? Like Remnant 2 is a game I probably should love, but every time I've loaded it up, I just can't get sucked into that loop. I really liked Remnant 1, so I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like it's just their map design doesn't do it for me.
It's like sort of like partially procedurally generated maps.
Yeah, it bothers me.
I bet another big. I still haven't played it, and I have to this year, and I'm fucking ashamed of myself. But Casey, I know you really liked Alan Wake 2.
Yeah,
was that a
big?
That was a massive improvement over the first one.
And you're wait for it too, right?
Speaking of long waits for a sequel, Space Marine 2, right? Did you feel like that was a big increase, or just
I mean, like if if a sequel came out or if a prequel came out 2 console generations ago, yeah, you're going to see that big leap. Obviously, I'm talking more like Horizon Forbidden Dawn to Horizon Forbidden West is like both
The
games
same-
looked incredible,
Yeah.
but it didn't like have that. When we used to
Are they
get
both
sequels,
called Forbidden? Zero Dawn.
That's
Okay,
the Zero.
yeah.
Dawn.
I wasn't trying to. It was
Forbidden
mostly
Zero?
in my mind.
I
I'm
don't
like,
think I
are
said
they both
that.
called Forbidden something?
Horizon Forbidden Dawn.
Mhm.
You just gotta keep partying all night, dude.
Yeah, but that's more my point. Is like that generational leap that you used to get between sequels doesn't really exist anymore because technology is just so far ahead now.
Broke it.
Yeah,
I still think it's a Sony thing. Like they're the ones who, and
well,
other
Xbox
people
doesn't
are
have
probably
any sequels 'cause they
following
cancel
their
stuff.
You're right. Like what sequel have they released? I think other games in that vein are copying Sony's lead because Sony has been so successful with like sort of these standouts.
Yeah, and I would say as much as I loved it and maybe prefer it to its predecessor, Tears of the Kingdom feels like it kind of fell in a similar rut of like we still talk about Breath of the Wild all the time as this was a defining game of the decade, and Tears of the Kingdom was like, yeah, it was a really good game. But we kind of don't talk about it in the same way because it was the wow factor, the surprise wasn't there, even though it is like a technical marvel.
That definitely had more like sting than like Spider-Man 2 or God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
In my mind. But
Yeah.
I absolutely felt the same way about that. So
it feels like of games that year, like Baldur's Gate is the one that gets brought up more often. But maybe if they just did a Baldur's Gate 4 and it was kind of more of the same thing, it wouldn't be talked about in the same way. It would be well reviewed, but it would just be like, well, they kind of just did that before, and this is just a better version of that.
Yeah, I think the only studio that gets away with this is Rockstar because they go so far and above.
But to your point, they also take they're taking they literally skipped a generation. Which is nuts. Jesus, how do you do that? Captain President with a $10 dono. Thank you so much, Captain President. Shout out to my baked potato crew. Bake them if you got them.
What's that in reference? Is this a hidden gems thing? Did you bring this up? Did you guys argue?
I have
Did Jesse argue
idea what the hell that's all about.
This feels like this could have been a Jack and Jess thing from earlier today. Because when I tuned in for a second and Jack was just hating on shrimp, he said you're just eating water cockroaches. It is a Jack thing. Okay, that's great. He said you're just and like he like pushed
lobster.
He screamed at Jess when she's like, I like shellfish, and he was like, you're fucking dumb. And I felt like I was
I
like,
don't
get me
believe
in
that.
there.
That
Get me
doesn't
in
sound
there.
like Jack.
I need to defend shellfish. I don't need to defend Jess. I need to defend shellfish. Yeah, look at that little platter. Look at that cappuccino or whatever the fuck it's called. Fella guy with a $5. Oh, do you guys like baked potatoes?
I love baked potatoes.
I love a baked potato.
Take
Gun to
it
your head. Only one kind of potato. What are you doing? Like what for the rest of your life? You can only have potato made one way. Is it fries? Is it curly
Wedge.
fries? A wedge fry, like a potato wedge.
A seasoned, yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
No, I get crispy fries.
You're not doing. So you're giving up mashed potatoes forever.
Yeah, mashed potatoes is really good actually, but I could
Those are really good.
I could
Yeah,
go
see,
the
the
rest of my
problem
life
is-
without ever eating another plate
The
of mashed
problem is
potatoes.
there's either good mashed potatoes or there's just bad. There's no
That's actually not true. There's there's literally never been a bad mashed potato.
liar.
That's not true. I've
Liar.
never had bad mashed potatoes.
I
in
don't
my
think
life.
I don't think I've ever experienced bad mashed potatoes. Like maybe mashed potatoes that you don't write home about, but I've absolutely had like really good mashed
You
potatoes.
just put a little butter and a little pepper on them. Boom.
Yeah, you can fix them.
Instant
It's
mash.
like,
Totally
it's like the
fine with
bad
instant
boyfriend
mash.
of the food
Speak
groups.
easy. You can fix them. You can fix them.
I've
Instant mash.
gotta-
You put enough butter. You
There
put
needs to
enough
be
cream.
there needs to be mashed potato gatekeeping if you're doing instant mash.
There's nothing. Instant mash is good.
Get off your fucking high horse.
No, I will be. I
We're all
will
not
die on this hill.
gourmands like you.
I will die on this hill.
Fella guy with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, fella guy. If it focuses on action and I demand to be able to throw the baby at enemies, maybe a little leash that lets you whip them back after you kill them. Listen, fella guy, there's a non-zero chance you can use Lil BB. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure which baby it is we have, and it seems like
There
the
are
baby
multiple
might.
babies?
I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember from the first game. There's a baby
There were
called
not.
Lou. There's a baby called BB. I think one of the
BB
babies might
is
have been
one.
us. We might be one of the babies.
Yeah,
I think one of the babies in this game might grow up to be TV's Elle Fanning.
Ooh.
One of the babies might be
Wow.
fucking Stranded Snakes baby, and he might be angry at us because we have Stranded Snakes baby, and he's like, "I'm not gonna
Weren't
let
the-
Norman Reedus raise my
weren't-
kid."
Weren't the babies like born into another dimension, and like that was an issue they needed to try to fix?
There's no way I can remember that. I don't remember anything about this game. Like, I think so.
We need to have Yahtzee could do a single lore video just on Death Stranding.
Just Death Stranding.
I'll tackle that one when I
Yes.
replay Death Stranding 1. I will give him. I will whip that up.
It is
for him.
written.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna understand it though. These games are dumb. And I love them.
You're gonna go through the wiki like, what the fuck am I reading?
I'm gonna play the game and I'm gonna be like, nothing is landing on me. I don't like Metal Gear is weird enough. There's enough weird things where Casey would ask me a question while we're playing, and I would just be like, I don't know. Like I don't have an answer.
Yeah,
for this.
I know.
You can like get most of it by the end of Death Stranding when she says you're my Mario and I'm your Princess Peach. It's like, what are we doing here? Kojima, why did you put this in the game?
That's a line in that
Yes,
game.
you are Mario
Forgot
and I
about
am
that.
Princess Peach. That's the last video game Kojima played because Kojima doesn't play games.
You know what? If your
That
story
sounds like that is a made up line. I swear to God, that is a genuine quote from the game.
if your story makes no sense to anybody, then you can't nobody can critique it properly. So you'll never know if you're actually a good
And
writer.
if someone does, they're like, it's too smart. It was too smart.
Yeah,
It's like Orb.
Wow.
This is like Orb. You should love this, Casey. You love Orb. Remember Orb?
Orb is a very, very simple story. They don't like science.
Most
Like God
stories
over
boil down
science,
to-
kill them.
You know, Peter Parker with a $10 dono. We're sorry we said that over about Spider-Man, by the way. We're definitely still thinking about Spider-Man 2 all the time. I'm actually a new gen holdout. Also, what do we call this generation? Sorry, I'm going to get to your question. Like, some people are still calling this next gen. I'm like, we can't do that. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's wild. It is current gen, but also
Yeah.
I work in the industry, so we kind of have to call it that.
New gen and you can't call last gen because do people think
Last gen
like-
is last gen.
I agree, but I don't know. So many things came out for both, right? That it's like there's no generation. It's not like you got
Yeah.
left behind on all these experiences.
And,
It's
like,
only like what 30?
Probably the top 10 games are all still available on the last gen, right? So,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. The multiplayer ones, your Elden Rings. I don't even know if I think Elden
So-
Ring was PS4.
I don't think it's on the top 10 list though.
Should be on my top 10 list. Peter Parker said, I'm actually a new gen holdout, still playing on my PS4 mostly. With my most current gen game is Baldur's Gate 3 that I play on my gaming laptop. I want to upgrade for GTA 6, but struggling with which path to go, PlayStation or Xbox. So if someone doesn't have like a crazy beefy PC, would you recommend at this point PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X if they just wanted a console? And you can't say build a PC.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Why
say that. I would never tell
I know
anyone
you
to
would
do
never say that. That was mostly for Nick. And he literally whispered, "Why not?" He did the fucking thing he says you do, but he did it.
He said he had a PC.
Cocked his head like a dog.
Oh, they have.
But
a
he says
PC?
no. He says he has a gaming laptop,
Oh, gaming laptop.
and
right,
it could
right.
run Baldur's Gate 3. But Baldur's Gate 3 isn't too beefy, right?
Oh yeah, it's beefy.
It's kind of beefy.
My
Well,
mistake.
there's a difference between being able to run it and being able to run it.
And yeah, and you definitely don't want to like try and run something like GTA 6. I imagine that's going to be a pain in the ass.
A mobile
And Rockstar
game, get outta
has
here.
traditionally struggled to do PC ports. And I don't even think they've announced it for PC yet, right? Is this also just going to come out on consoles first?
Yeah, they have not announced it for PC yet.
Yeah, which seems silly. They should, but
And
they'll get a lot
they
of
do
people
it.
double dip.
They
I mean,
do what they
yeah,
want.
They'll get
if
like
you-
millions of people to double dip.
Yeah, if you have a PC, a gaming laptop, then go PS5 because you can get everything on Xbox on PC already. So I think that's an easy.
Yeah,
option.
that makes sense. And the
Yeah, I
PS5 does have, if you got it, I mean, like they have the Pro option. So if you're going to just get a console
Don't
and
get the Pro.
you don't have either one, I mean, if he doesn't have a console at all, why not?
Oh, that's
It's
fair.
funny that for PS5 we're like, don't get the Pro, get the regular one. Whereas for Xbox, I'm like, do not get the S, get the X. Like,
Yeah,
spend the extra money for Xbox. Don't spend the extra money.
Yeah. Get
like
just,
if you need a second Xbox, then you can get this. You need a backup Xbox.
What if there's a third option, and what if it's you just wait a little bit? What if you get yourself a Switch 2?
No, absolutely not.
Think about it.
No, That would be the absolute worst.
Eric, how quickly you pulled that up? You
That
knew
was
what I was going to
crazy.
say when I started saying it. Eric absolutely knew what I was going to say.
That's insanity.
Eric's like, Marty has went so long with literally outbringing it. We did not bring up Nintendo at all on this stream. And Eric's like, I know Marty's going to
You
do this.
could just see the twitching in Marty's eyebrows. He was waiting to bring it up.
No, I said we're not going to bring it up for an hour. And then it became 8 o'clock and I was allowed to bring it up.
Wow, immediately.
Did any of the previous Grand Theft Autos make their way to Nintendo consoles?
Yeah, the remasters.
The remasters did?
On Switch. None of them made their way.
Yeah.
Not on
Nintendo.
not on GameCube, not on Wii, not on Wii U. Switch now has Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and
San Andreas.
Doesn't
Okay,
have
so
4.
and that's like
4's
what,
the big
20 years old? That
Sure.
that trilogy at this point? Yeah, so do not for a second think that GTA 6 is coming to a Nintendo console, please.
GTA 5 will be though.
Nope. Not
GTA
even.
5 is absolutely coming to Switch too. Are you kidding me?
GTA 5 is how old? 10?
They literally
2013,
just
12
re-released
years old.
the next gen version on PC.
12 years old.
They're
Yeah,
still
12 years
re-releasing
old
that
is
game.
not long enough.
No,
They've released it like a 20 million times.
Right,
It's not long
Rockstar
enough.
absolutely has that. I got one more in me. It's like we can get another 5 million
It's not
sales.
because
They're
honestly,
definitely going to do GTA 5 on
100%.
Switch too.
GTA
and
5,
Red Dead 2. You guys are nuts. You don't understand how powerful this little
the
dude.
Switch
This little
2
dude.
will not be able to run it. I'm convinced. They can try.
Miyamoto delayed it because he said, "I want you to get those horses under this handheld."
You mean
You don't
Switch,
think it's
not
be able to
happening.
run those? Are you
Switch
being
2 can
serious?
Nope.
Switch 2 can
I
run
don't.
Pokemon ZA? What do you mean?
Can it?
First off, Switch 1 can run that. And second off, it kind of
Oh,
looks
shit.
shit. Oh no! I'm excited for it. Kind of looks bad.
I
forgot.
have zero confidence it can run those games, but we'll see.
Well, I'm just saying, all the
Question is,
dominoes
can
are falling
you
in for
run
these
those
games
games,
coming out
Casey?
this year. Sussy Guru, the €5 dono. Thank you so much. Plain boiled and salted tomatoes with rosemary. That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Sussy Guru. That sounds like a German ass potato from a German ass man. That
Love
sounds great.
tomatoes.
I need to go back to
Potatoes.
I need to go back to
I
Prague.
thought he was tomatoes in a potato.
Prague had the best chicken and potatoes I've ever had in my life.
I mean, I also love tomatoes, but I don't know what just happened there. Maybe I said tomatoes. It's possible I said tomatoes.
Yeah.
Also-
I heard like a baked potato with tomatoes like roasted and like salt. I don't know. I'm hungry. God damn it.
I'm real hungry. I'm real hungry. You know what? Everything's fine. We're at what you've been playing.
Ooh.
What you been playing? We're gonna do a voice going into this now. You know what I'm gonna do? A rare. I'm gonna start off with mine because I've been playing new things. 2 new things.
Ooh.
I've been playing Split Fiction, which I think I'm the only one. Listen,
Yeah.
guys, I don't want to shock anyone. I got a friend outside of this group.
How dare you?
How dare you? I've been playing Split Fiction. I've been playing Wanderstop. Split Fiction, I'm about 5 hours into, maybe 6 hours into. I'm hoping to finish it up this weekend. Obviously, my buddy lives on the East Coast, so it's hard to, everyone has jobs and whatnot, so it's hard to line up times, but we've done like a 2-hour session and a 3-hour session. Absolute blast. Like It Takes Two, like just a insane amount of humor in the gameplay. Like there are so many moments that made us like legitimately like laugh, especially the fact that you can see each other's screens as you're playing. A really good game for goofing. Really smart design decisions just in terms of how the pacing, how quickly it oscillates between one gameplay style and another, and the fact that like, so the whole premise is that you're these there's this creative writing summit at this like sort of dystopian tech company that's taking these aspiring writers who haven't been published yet and putting them in these machines that allow them to kind of enter the worlds of their stories, of their minds, of their imaginations. And 2 characters who are like, you know, oil and water, one who writes fantasy, one who writes sci-fi. Their pods accidentally kind of get jammed together, so they're in each other's worlds that are kind of bleeding through and constantly oscillating between fantasy and sci-fi, and they're both very different people, and so that's where kind of the gameplay stems from there. But just really like every time a new mechanic is introduced, I'm just like, holy shit, this is really smart. And it's not just, oh, you're playing co-op and you have different guns in different parts of the level. Like you are just playing a different video game, the 2 people.
Mhm.
Like it'll be so like there's one level where he was a a creature, like a fairy sprite that could become like a bear or become like a fairy. I think like you can almost turn into either of those. And then I became Mother Nature, and I was no longer a character, and the game was one screen, but I could control nature, and I could like make plants grow or shrink or make rocks move and like bark move to like help him in platforming. And so that was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, it's not like we are just playing different things now. Like I am manipulating the world, and he is controlling a character to try to get through it. So I'm really enjoying it so far. The one thing that hasn't impressed me a ton is like the story and the characters so far or whatever. Like all the fun I'm having is not because I care about this story.
Yeah.
Like I assume the thing is going to be that this company is like stealing ideas from people. Like I assume the thing is.
I think that was in this trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good assumption then. And honestly, it might not be an assumption. That might be a thing I forgot, and then it was deep inside, and I grabbed it, and I'm like, I thought of this myself. But
that's been that's been my
really
hesitation to like jump into it. It like I was really excited for It Takes Two, and I know I'm gonna enjoy Split Fiction when I play it.
You will definitely, and you will laugh. So like, there's one moment I got to where I laughed my ass off, and I'm like, Nick is gonna bring this up.
yeah. But yeah, like the trailers didn't do a lot to sell me on it.
yeah. It's if you like Split Fiction or if you like It Takes Two, you will love this. Like honestly, I recommend. Like this is a game I could just recommend across the board. If you have someone you want to play a game with, I think you'll have. I think
it's mostly just the art style is just really generic compared to It Takes Two and stuff. I think.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Yeah, I'm only
it's very Unreal Engine.
It is very Unreal Engine. Yeah. But I mean, I'm really excited to play more. I saw that it sold, I think, 2-3 million copies so far already, which is great.
Probably gonna be
awesome.
Definitely gonna be a Game of the Year contender again.
Yeah, I would say so. And then really quick, I guess Air got poisoning in the Patreon. Thank you so much, Air got said in honor of Split Fiction. Do you said top 5, but just try to pick one couch co-op game of all time. And let's not do It Takes Two, because I feel like everyone would say It Takes Two. Was there like a couch co-op experience you would think of that, like, did any of the Nintendo games ever do that for you? Did
Halo 2?
Halo 2? Okay.
Halo 2 like Smash is like an easy answer, but like Halo 2 I had
co-op though.
That is okay. I guess that's not co-op.
Yeah, right.
But it is friends. Like, Smash is incredible. You know, Smash and Mario Kart and stuff were incredible in room kind of things.
I would put Halo 2 and Gears of War up there.
Okay, I like that. Literally, I was about to say mine. Fucking Deeps, exact same game. Gauntlet Legends for the Nintendo 64, which is kind of
a good one.
It was like an arcade game. It was like arcade Diablo Light. But it was ported over to the N64, and I played the shit out of that with my pals. I thought that was great. You could be a wizard, a dwarf.
In the same vein as Gauntlet Legends, Phantasy Star Online 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like I played so many hours of that, and like they let you take your memory card to like your friend's house so you can like load your hunter and like basically do dungeon runs with them and their characters. God, I love that game. That game is the reason why I love Monster Hunter today.
Yeah, look at that. That was a good question. Ooh, yeah, some good games. Trine, those were good. Those were fun. I feel like that'd be fun. I never played that local co-op though, but I feel like that would be fun local co-op. X-Men Alliance, I love Marvel or X-Men Legends and Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Yeah. The other thing, really quick, I've been playing is Wanderstop. We mentioned earlier, this is the new game from Ivy Road. This is a studio. It just came out the other day. This was by Davey Redden, who was the creator of the Stanley Parable and the Beginner's Guide. He's making this game with some other folks, including folks who worked on Gone Home and Annapurna. And this is, in my mind, the exact opposite of Split Fiction in that the gameplay isn't doing too much for me. But the fucking story is like, I'm like, this might be the story. This might be the best written game of the year. Like, I would be shocked if something is able to top this. We've talked about this. We've seen trailers for it and talked about it in the past. But this is a you play this woman who's a knight or like a warrior, and her whole essence was about becoming the strongest and never losing fights and being like the bravest, fiercest warrior. And then she just starts fucking losing, and she loses and she loses and she can't win again. And so she's like, oh, I got to go into this forest to find the greatest swordsman who ever existed to get trained from her. And on the way there, it's this amazing opening sequence where like she can just no longer carry this, like the sword is too heavy for her. And so she just like is trying to drag it, but passes out, and then wakes up in this little oasis that's a tea shop. And it's this kind of magical, almost like a liminal space of travelers who are going to and from their destinations will randomly pop into. And the guy there kind of convinces her to like, hey, while you're regaining your strength to figure out what you want to do, what if you work at this tea shop? And so you work this tea shop doing kind of what we assume the cozy game mechanics are. You're planting different things outside in different ways to try to harvest different types of tea and leaves and ingredients. You're cleaning, you're using like farming tools, you're gathering different items and stuff. And then random like wayward stragglers and travelers will come through, and you meet them and you talk with them, and then they sort of, you realize they need a specific type of tea. Then it's your job to figure out how to brew that specific type of tea with them. The gameplay stuff, again, like I said, the farming stuff, that kind of stuff isn't really doing that much for me. Although I do like there's like a very intricate process to brew the tea in this almost like Willy Wonka machine that like you use one of those, those like ladders that are in like fancy libraries that kind of like
with the wheels on
wheel
them?
across the floor. Yeah, you kind of use that to like navigate this like circular thing, and you have to like pour the water and then boil it and then add the ingredients and then like pour. It's like very soothing in how you do that. But the characters I've met so far and the things I've done to kind of help them and how I've seen their arcs take sharp right-hand turns, where if you played the Stanley Parable or the Beginner's Guide, will be familiar to you, has been like really outstanding. And I know this game's relatively short. I think it's like less than 10 hours, and I'm about 4 hours into it, so I'm excited to finish it this weekend. But really enjoying it for the story. The cozy stuff, I could take or leave, but A plus story.
Do you generally like cozy games? Like, are there a bunch of them that you're into?
No, like farming stuff, no. Like I was into Harvest Moon as a kid, but like I have never gotten super into like Stardew Valley or that kind of stuff. I like the cozy aesthetic. Like I love those like cozy game showcases or wholesome showcases. And then there was stuff like A Short Hike or Little Gator Game that I really loved, but those were more just like 3D, like platformers, and I like that genre. So I'm less about the micromanaging, the sort of keeping track of all that stuff. That this game does a good job of making it relatively simple, so I'm not getting like bogged down. Yeah, don't think of this game as like I'm going to min-max my farm and become the world's greatest farmer. You are just doing these simple tasks in order to get to the next
like busy work between beats.
Yeah, and I want to wait until I finish it. I do feel like there's a purpose behind that, and if I am right, it is really smart in its design. But I'm gonna wait and see. But so far, a thumbs up. I recommend that to people.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this. I might jump into this with the.
I think we got in the shared account.
Fiance.
Yeah,
and this is on my fantasy list. So this
and
I got 3
importantly,
games
it's on your
that came
fantasy.
out.
I think this reviewed pretty well.
It got.
I don't think it has widespread
points
as some of the other stuff. Speaking of, Casey, what have you been playing and or watching?
I've not been playing much because of just things happening, but I've been able to, because I saw in my downtime that the new season of Formula One Drive to Survive dropped, and oh my god, did I need some Formula One in my life? Good
Back
god,
in your life. Yeah.
What a fantastic show. Even if you don't give a shit about like race cars, it's such a good ass like sports documentary. Like the drivers and like the team principals and some of the CEOs, like they're just fascinating people. Well, actually, you don't really know too much about their personal lives, if I'm being honest, but they're fascinating characters within the realm of like the Formula One season, because stuff happens that just seems like someone wrote this, like the drama between like these teams and these characters, and like what happens off the racetrack and then what's going on between like their rivalries and their ambitions on the racetrack. Like it coalesces so beautifully. Like it might as well have just been written. Like and this season has been really good so far. I'm like halfway through, I want to say. And because of, like I mentioned it before, because of this, like I follow like a lot of Formula One stuff now. So I'm getting news about like the current season that's happening right now. So like I'm in a way spoiling certain things for myself. Like I knew about some sort of controversy with the lead at Red Bull Racing before I saw kind of how the race, like the whole league handled it. Also knew that I knew about a big change from one driver going from one car manufacturer to another before the start of this as well. But like I think they try to take that into account because like some of the bigger headlines that will maybe break out of like maybe like the core Formula, and the Formula One is like really big right now. Like
yeah.
But even the ones that will break out of like the normal followers, it seems like they kind of front loaded a lot of the season with that. So it's like I got to see the results of the stuff that I knew like in the first and second episode, honestly. So like that felt like a really good way to be pulled back into like the nitty gritty of what I wasn't aware of because I'm not watching every single race or reading every single headline.
Yeah.
It's also just really well shot.
It's funny because it's like it's a sport, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like a very interesting way to experience a sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a
like if after every basketball season you got to watch a 40 for 40 on like just that season.
Yeah, exactly. Or it would almost be cool if like after the end of an NFL season they turned it into like a documentary that felt like a drama, like
an
episode drama.
I'm honestly surprised they haven't yet. Now that I'm thinking about it, like why wouldn't any other big sporting organization look at maybe not just like Netflix one is really good, but like they could get a deal with freaking Apple or Hulu or whatever and be like, hey, this is our version of this that will suck people in.
I think the Detroit Lions did that recently.
Did they?
Well, they have that. They have that show. Anyone who watches football in the chat will remember. Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Hard Knocks, where like a camera crew like is embedded with a team, and I feel like it's kind of going away, and it's kind of becoming a little like the edges are kind of getting sanded off of that because they're kind of like PRs
too much
coming into it.
Too much politics, right? Like Formula One, as popular as it is kind of a tight knit crew. Like there's only 20 racing teams, so that's 40 drivers, and like they don't follow every single team and every single driver. But like they're all relevant in a way where like you don't need access to like a 40-person football team, I guess, right? Like it just makes because you have like the team principal and like the two drivers.
Yeah.
And then like so you have like a real core thing to base around, even though the teams, of course, are like much bigger, like engineers and strategists and all this stuff. But like you have the main characters that you can focus around that represent each of the 20 teams. So like it's a lot more concise.
Knowing the NFL, they probably just wanted the same amount of money to license out anything to do it.
Sure.
Honestly, you got to license out the NFL brand, you got to license out the sport team brand.
There was on European football had isn't there that documentary that's with Rob McElhenney and Ryan?
Oh yeah,
that's more about like
buying a thing. Yeah,
Reckham. It's one of those words. So some combination of any of those words were the thing we're referring to. You been watching anything else?
Just rewatching Warrior. Like I mentioned, I finally got the fiance to take the plunge because she was really into Gangs of London. And funny story, the new season of Gangs of London is on the way, season 3, and they put Andrew Koji in it, who's the main guy from Warrior. So clearly, they saw the same synergy that I saw when I went, oh, if you like this, you'll like that. They were like, you know what? We agree.
They're watching the show. They're watching the pod. They're friends of the pod. We're going to call them friends of the pod. Gangs of London crew, friends of the pod. Nick, what do you got going on?
Well, speaking of shows, it's kind of funny too. Speaking of football, Blue Mountain State is coming back to Amazon with Reacher, the guy that plays Reacher.
Oh no.
That's going to be fucking late. One of my favorite things on social media right now is everybody learning about Alan Rickman and
like how woke he is.
Well, that, but also like going back and watching, like they didn't know about Blue Mountain State, and they're like, "This is the same guy." I was like, yeah, it is. Like literally, my mom is watching Reacher right now, and I like showed her Alan Rickman from Blue Mountain State. She's like, "The fuck."
Okay, I'm against. I want to be cognizant. I just think this is funny. You're saying Alan Rickman, who played Snape in Harry Potter,
Shit.
Alan Richardson. I'm not
Alan
doing
Richardson.
that to be like I want to one up you, but I just think it's funny imagining the dude who played Hans Gruber.
Oops. Yep. And then the other show that's coming back this year, Two Stars, is a new season, like a new series around Spartacus.
Oh, that's cool. Didn't the guy die?
Well, the lead actor died in between season 1 and season 2. He was already recast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they're gonna focus on fuck, I'm forgetting his name. Usher? Yeah, the Usher, the really scummy business guy.
Asher. Yeah.
Asher. Yeah. And so that was pretty funny. Like 2 of those shows that I watched like in college are coming back.
They're not bringing that actor back, are they?
No,
like
it's
a
a
young version?
It's a completely new spin-off series about Asher.
Okay, interesting.
I heard Usher Raymond's going to play him though.
That'd be very interesting. This is more of like I watched Darren's Daredevil backdrop video today, and it is everything is lousy with nostalgia bait, and like that's exactly what the 2 shows you're mentioning sound like. It's like folks have nothing other than what is in their library to try and lean on right now.
And I don't know how you do Blue Mountain State in like current times because it was not a politically correct show when it came out. It still isn't.
I mean, most shows today aren't all that politically correct.
Well, also, it's 2025. You don't got to be apparently anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can just wild out and become an animal.
Yeah, not so much that. Just like Blue Mountain State was like a show of its time. I don't know how you bring it back and keep that same energy.
I think you can do that. You can be cognizant of that. I think when you bring it
can.
Yeah.
But I mean, other shows, like other revival shows, haven't really done it well, like How I Met Your Father or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm always iffy on revival shows.
Sure.
But what I have been watching now, I'll start with that because I really can't talk about the games I've been playing. But Daredevil, have you gotten into that, Marty, at all? Have you watched any of it?
No, I actually haven't watched the new episodes. I watched all 3 seasons of Daredevil and The Defenders. So that's just as good.
The Defenders part was a mistake.
Yeah.
There's like an episode and a half of The Defenders that's really good. It's that in the middle, it's pretty much a bottle episode where they go to the Chinese restaurant after they all meet up.
Yeah.
And they're just hanging out. That's a really good episode.
It is. Though the fight at the end of that, I think, is still bad.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. All of the fights were good, and then the fights were bad.
Yeah, in Defenders, they use the Iron Fist team or something.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this new version of Daredevil, but yeah, like I think Darren's essay on it like really hits the nail on the head, where it really does feel like Disney is trying to make it work in the confines of an R-rated Daredevil show while also connecting it to the MCU in some ways, and even like the first episode is kind of tonally all over the place. I actually liked episode 2 and 3 a lot more. And I won't spoil anything from episode 1, but like there's definitely like a shock moment to be like, okay, this is how we're resetting the board a little bit to make it work within the MCU. And also the action scenes are not anywhere near as good as Netflix's version. We're back to nice Marvel jump cuts for a lot of stuff.
I like the idea of how to weave it into the MCU is that Matt Murdock has to like defend a Celestial. He's got to go to God Court.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been watching that. I'm hoping. The only other thing I can say about it is like between that and Andor, it's like the first 2 Disney shows that feel like actual TV shows and not just extended movies. I think I said that same thing on Blue Sky, and some people are pointing to like Miss Marvel and stuff like that for actual TV shows. But like this, I don't know. This has like that between Andor and this are like the 2 that feel like that premium air around them, like they're supposed to be.
Sure.
But Yeah, and then I actually got to preview a game called Metal Eden. So this is the new game from the developers behind Ruiner. I know there are a lot of people in the chat excited about that when they announced this. But essentially, it's Cyberpunk Doom, and I really like what I got to play in the preview.
We
moves-
saw this in
the
the
PlayStation
last
showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
one I
yeah.
thought was multiplayer, and then it turns
Yeah.
out I was wrong.
No, yeah, it's very much Cyberpunk Doom. It plays really smooth. The combat encounters are fun. It's got a killer soundtrack already. So I'm I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I can't say I cared about the story too much from what I played in the preview, but not really there for that anyways. I'm just there for cool environments and kicking the shit out of things. But definitely one I think this might end up being a sleeper hit, even though their social media is actually kind of popped off because they're doing a really good job of just showing off all the different environments and guns and stuff like that. But I do think it'll be maybe a sleeper hit this year type of game.
Nice. And they slipped right into that avenue that Doom left. Like they basically made this exact sort of game and it was like, let's go back to the ground. So this is going off in the direction of what a Doom Eternal sequel would actually feel like.
This feels like, this is literally all I could think about when I was playing this is like they must have loved Doom Eternal a lot because it plays very similar.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Yeah, I think it's good that like you said, we're getting obviously Doom the Dark Ages soon, but it feels like a very different type of shooter. So people who wanted that flavor kind of get it in this. Does this have a release date? Did you say that?
May 26th.
Okay, wow, very close to Doom.
Yeah. Oh shit.
That's why I think it might be a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's going to do on release, but I think over time people will pick it up and like it.
Sure.
But yeah, the only other game I've been playing that I can't talk about is I'm still dead hooked on Nights in Tight Spaces.
Nice.
I got real close to finishing my first run because you can beat it through the campaign missions, and I got my ass whipped at the final boss finally. But
sometimes spaces are too tight.
No, it's true.
Loosen them up a little bit.
But I just adore the game because every time you unlock a new archetype, it completely changes how you play the game. So like you can have a fighter, you can have a cleric, you can have a hunter, like which is a short bow, so you can shoot people that are like right next to you because you have a short bow. But if you use the actual archer, they have a long bow, so you have to be 2 spots away to actually use it. So what I really love about Nice and Tight Spaces, though, that you don't get from a lot of the kind of tactical strategy games like this, is so focused on movement and placement. So you get move cards for every character, and there's all kinds of different moves you can do. So like Split, for example, lets you move diagonally between spots, or you can get swaps. So you can take a character, grab them, put them in your place, and then like I kind of talked about last week, you can set things up in a way, if you move correctly, that you can basically create a chain of events that you never even have to attack the other characters. They'll all kill each other.
That's cool. I like that.
And then before last week, I guess I made the mistake of when I lost a run, just returning to menu instead of abandoning the run. So I wasn't unlocking all the cards that you can unlock, and there is a fuck ton of cards and different moves to unlock. So like the game is like really opened up now that I've gotten into the loop of getting as far as I can in a campaign run, ending it if I die, getting new things unlocked. It's just one of the most. I think it's literally one of the most satisfying tactical strategy deck building games I've ever played.
Hell yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
You mentioned bows really quick before we close out. Casey, have you played any more Monster Hunter?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you think? Is this? Do you think this one's here to stay?
They do need to update it. The thing is, the base game was not really aimed at the hardcore, and the hardcore are the ones who are going to be playing it from now until the next one comes out. But the thing is, Capcom always has a roadmap. They're always going to bring out all the stuff that the hardcore folks are going to eat. So it's coming. I'm not worried that it won't be there. It's coming. That's how I feel. But I can see
a lot of people be like, I can't believe I've finished all the content. I'm like, well, you played 100 hours in a week, so
right? Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you could very easily get to the end of this game because they made it a lot. They made it so that you can get to the end of this game because a lot of people bought Monster Hunter Worlds and never did.
It kind of feels like to me they're gonna Worlds got its expansion. But this feels like it's going to be more of a drip feed of content for a live service model to me.
But they always do that too. Like
Yeah.
before the big upgrade, they always release like new monsters, like new events, like new difficulty modes, like the master rank or the G rank, whatever they call it. Like there's always stuff in between, and then you get the big drop that's like a bunch of stuff, and then after that they still release more stuff. So like it's all coming.
Ice Break, was that what it was?
It was Iceborne.
Iceborne.
Was it Iceborne?
There's no way to know. They actually don't. It's not on the internet. You can't even look it up.
None of us have.
I think Iceborne was for World, and then Sunbreak was for Rise.
Iceborne.
Haha.
So Wilds will probably be, I don't know, something. It'll be Horizon.
Wind. Forbidden Horizon.
Forbidden Horizon.
Awesome. I think we did it. I think we did a whole show.
Wrapped up right at 8:30.
Oh my god, I'm deeply proud of all of us. Before we head out for the evening, Casey, what do you got going on? What should folks check out from you?
The huge. Find me on all the social medias at SigmaGears9, though I do not use Twitter anymore, so don't bother looking over there.
Things are going great on Twitter, let me tell you.
Tomorrow, my fiance and I are doing our Just Dance and Eat stream. We're eating weird food. And I say weird, it's just weird to us. Food that we don't recognize. We went to like H Mart. We went to the Spanish grocery store. And we also just bought like very strange American food, like stuff we did recognize. It was like, I didn't know they made this flavor. So we're just going to have a bunch of snacks and like weird like drinks and whatever. And then we're just going to do Just Dance because we need to burn those calories.
I love it.
So join us for that tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be streaming from my living room, so this is going to be a new thing. Yeah, I'm trying to get. I'm in my head. I have the setup. I just have to actually put it to work.
We're getting an exciting new piece of KC lore. Listen, I've already mapped out what this room looks like from the one angle I have. I'm excited to see what the living room might do.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. Fiance is very excited because she wants to try the food.
And you just want to dance.
Yeah, that's all I've ever wanted to do.
Just want to dance. And then Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Brand new episode of Adventure is Nigh, season 4. Can't wait.
Episode 3. It's a biggie. I don't even know.
Season 4, episode 3.
It's got to be a biggie.
There's
no way it's a biggie. They're all biggies. Oops, all biggies.
Every single one's biggie.
Hell yeah. Tune in for that. Nick, what do you got going on before you fucking fly off to the West Coast?
No unpack this week. I was under the weather, so didn't get a chance to get it in on time. So I'll be back with Unpack next week. And then I also have a essay on a certain big open world RPG franchise dropping next week. I don't know how strict the embargo is, so I'm not going to say anything more.
I read it. We could say we are playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Well, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
We're going to cover Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Another hard games drop.
Oh, baby. Look at that hard games.
Yeah, so should have an interesting essay on that for you next week. And then I'm trying to wrap up a nice and tight Spaces essay before I go. And then, I'll be at GDC doing all the business stuff while Jay Mate gets to go look at video games. I'll be looking at lots of video games too, but I also get to go do a lot of business things.
Hell yeah. And then on my front, I should have, I think, a video essay next week that's going to be a adaptation of a column I wrote recently about how all digital storefronts are fucking terrible. Capturing B-roll for that has been an experience. It's been an experience, and I may have spent $10 on a porno game on accident.
Also has nothing to do with
I confirmed like 4 different times.
I did it for the goof. It's gonna work for the goof. It's gonna work so good as a visual goof.
Did you finally buy Orc Massage?
I didn't buy Orc Massage. I bought Hentai Waifus 5.
The 5th one.
Waifu, sorry. And then next week Jack will be filling in for Jay on Windbreaker, so tune in for that. And then I believe, speaking of Jack, I think next a week from today, Thursday, for the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows, instead of doing Lords of the Fallen, I'm going to be joining the two of them, and I've also been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, so I'm going to be streaming some of that, running around Japan. Maybe we'll find some animals to pet. throats are slit. It'll be
Man,
great.
you are gonna deal with the most cynical Jack
Me?
on that. Yeah.
Oh, Jack's gonna be fine.
Oh my god, I would never stream Assassin's Creed with Jack.
What me? I'm
Jack
gonna be
doesn't like
playing it. And
Assassin's
I don't even
Creed?
know how to share my gameplay. He's gonna be
Hell
fine. We're
no.
just talking about movies and samurai and top buns and all that. It'll be great.
Oh man.
So yeah, tune in for that. Yeah, then otherwise tomorrow at noon Central. Yeah, it was $10, Eric. I know. Listen, it was a $10 goof.
You know, I've
sometimes
been
goofs
moving
are
$15 for pizza, right?
Sometimes goofs are worth $10.
Is that where my $10? Is that where my $15?
That's where 10 to the 15 went. And then yeah, tomorrow at noon, like I mentioned, the guest I mentioned last night coming to DevHeads was not able to make it. However, the DevHeads crew will be wrangling back up to chat about the closure of what was that game called?
Spectre Divide from Mountain
Spectre
Studios.
Divide, and just sort of the state of multiplayer game, these multiplayer shooters, and we've seen a lot Shudder throughout the years. We've seen Titans like 343 sort of lose their spot, and so yeah, chatting about that. And there are three people who are very smart, so it'll be great. So tune in for that tomorrow at noon. Otherwise, yeah, that'll do it for us for Firelink episode number 58. For Eric, Casey, and Nick, this was Marty. Thank you all so much. Everyone who tuned in live on YouTube, all the members of the Green Gang, and especially all of our patrons. We appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Sweet.
Great episode.
Put our audio back in.
Waifu fun.
It's too late. It's too late.
President, $10, $10 for the waifu fund.
Oh, I missed it.